Hello and welcome along to episode 85 of the All Things Leeds podcast. We are back with the first episode of 2021. We can only apologise for that, really. Hopefully you all doing fantastically well and the new year is treating you all very well indeed. I am, of course, Ed McIntyre, and joining me, as always, is Charles Foster. Charles, hello, mate.
Hi, mate. How you doing?
I'm very well. How are you, mate?
I'm doing fine, mate. I'm just enjoying my weekend. Hopefully Leeds don't ruin it tomorrow. We're recording this.
Yeah.
We're recording this on Saturday, by the way, just to give people context there.
Yeah, hopefully Leeds United don't ruin the weekend. They haven't ruined too many weekends recently. We've picked up some decent results, and we, of course, have a decent result to talk about in this episode. We'll, of course, be reflecting on that 2-0 win over Crystal Palace at Elland Road. We'll catch up with the Under-23s, see how they've been getting on recently as well. We've got plenty of news and transfer news to catch up on as well before we look ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on Arsenal away at the Emirates Stadium this Sunday. Loads coming up here on the All Things Leeds podcast. Well, as always, let's start by looking back at Leeds United's previous game, which, of course, was that 2-0 win over Crystal Palace at Elland Road. Charles, if you could sum this game up in one word, what would it be?
Comfortable. It was very, very comfortable. I never felt in any danger whatsoever. It was a good professional performance from us, playing a very, very average team. It was one of the least. It was one of the least stressful games I've watched this season. Probably the least stressful one since you smashed West Brom. Yeah.
I mean, for me, the word I'd use would be easy. I mean, it was just so easy, really, as easy as it gets in the Premier League. You know, I just can't believe how bad Crystal Palace were, because, I mean, you look through the Crystal Palace team, they've got the likes of Batshuayi, Benteke, Eberici Eze, Andros Townsend. You know, they're not a bad team. They're a well-established Premier League team. But I just could not believe how poor they were on Monday night, really. They're as bad as West Brom and, you know, the likes of West Brom and Newcastle were against us, really.
The problem with Palace is they've got a few good players, like Zaha and Eze and the like, but they've also got a lot of aging average players, like your Gary Cahill's, and who's all just old. Scott Dann, who's old. You've got Nathaniel Klein, old. Andros Townsend is probably getting on a bit now. There's a lot of, you know, kind of aging players in that team, and they are just not good enough to kind of push beyond lower mid-table. I think a few of our players are aging. We've got a lot. I think we've got a lot more talent in our team, so we just punished him, really. I think Eze is good, but he won't stay there if they go down. Zaha, it's still, I think he's out of contract in the summer, so I think he'll be making a decision pretty soon. And if he's smart, I don't think he'll stay.
Yeah, no, neither do I. I mean, Crystal Palace were, of course, without Wilfred Zaha for this game due to a hamstring injury. And Zaha is their top goal scorer with 9 goals this season. Palace's next highest scorer is Eberici Eze with just 3. So, them being without Zaha obviously was a huge advantage for Leeds United on Monday, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, they are pretty much, I don't want to say a one-man team because obviously they've got Eze as well, but he makes them take completely. They're a completely different side when he's with them to when he's not. I think they've lost like 14 of their 16 games they've played without him. It's like they've got like a horrendous record when he's not playing for them. So you can really see the impact when he's not there. I personally think he's good as Zaha, but he's also he's got a bit of the Ollie Watkins about him, where he's good, but he's also cheap. He dives all the time. I'm not saying that just because he dives against us. I've seen Zaha dive against all teams in the Premier League. Yeah. He goes down under minimal contact, much like Ollie Watkins, much like Grealish, but he does have the talent and he's got them steppers and he stands players up well. So and takes it past them. So he's a quality player. So they are definitely worse off without him.
Yeah. I feel as though they really did miss Zaha. I mean, Palace are one-dimensional at the best of times, but without Zaha, they really, had nothing on Monday night. I mean, their new January signing, Jean-Philippe Mateta, started, and he didn't really do anything. I was watching Jordan Ayew play up front, and he's only scored 1 goal this season, which ironically came against Leeds United, but he didn't do anything. And I was just looking at it thinking Palace are really poor, and I cannot believe we lost against them 4-1 earlier in the season. I mean, yeah, Monday night was just so easy for Leeds United. Of course, scoring within the first 3 minutes of a game always helps, and that's what we did in this game. Jack Harrison scoring his sixth goal of the season, and Leeds United's quickest Premier League goal since Stephen Caldwell scored after 2 minutes in a 2-1 win at Blackburn in April 2004. So yeah, scoring early on in games always helps, doesn't it? It's always a big factor because it tends to throw the opposition's game plan out the window. Whether Palace had much of a game plan on Monday, I really don't know. But scoring early on always does tend to throw the opposition off, really, and it just eases a lot of pressure for the team who go ahead early on, doesn't it?
Yeah, especially against a team like Palace, who you know are going to sit back and try and hit a team like Leeds on the counter when they're going away from home. So to get that early goal, to get that bit of breathing room, it just makes the whole game a lot easier because they've then got to open up and come and play it, try and get a goal, play against us, and we don't have as much pressure, to try and create something because we're already winning from very early on. And it was a quality goal as well from Jack Harrison. A little bit fortunate with the deflection, but it was still the quality was in the build up, not really the final product in that goal.
Yeah, it was. Winning the ball back, and it was Dallas inside to Click, wasn't it? And then Click laying it off to Harrison. Yeah, it was a nice build up, and Jack Harrison just take the shot off there as well. Credit to him, and bit fortunate with deflection, but it still counts as his sixth goal of the season. And it was a perfect start for Leeds United in this game, and it was just comfortable for us, really. Of course, we only went into half time 1-0 up, but we could have been way ahead in this game. Patrick Bamford had a good chance with his header early on. Of course, Bamford set himself up with a one-on-one situation when he tapped the ball past Cahill, but he blasted his shot way over. And Pascal Struijk had many good headers in that first half. 3 headers, 5 yards out that he made a mess of. Only 1-0 at half time, but we could have been way ahead at the break, Charles, couldn't we?
Yeah, we had a lot of chances. They were slow. They were really, like, tempo wise, Palace was slow, and I thought we were decent, but we didn't have that our normal kind of really high tempo going either. I thought the game had the kind of feel of like a pre-season game about it when you were watching it. That's what it kind of felt like to me, especially with the lack of fans in there. But obviously that's due to Corona. But it had that kind of feel about it, like the pre-season game feel. And yeah, Palace had really nothing going forward for them. They were just planning on getting the ball to Eze and have him dribble through 8 defenders, or that was it, or launch it long and hope that Ayew would bring it down. That was their entire attacking game plan there. I think their plan was just to try and stay solid and nick a goal off a corner or a free kick. I think that's clearly the plan, but it didn't work because they were dreadful from set pieces.
Yeah, which I was surprised about, really. And we were quite dreadful at set pieces too, as well, really, because Pascal Struijk, he had a free header from a set piece that he completely made a mess of. I mean, Pascal Struijk, he was good in this game, and he grows game by game, but he clearly needs to work in his heading because, he could have easily scored a hat trick in this game, really.
You say we were dreadful from set pieces, and I think I can't defend Struik's finishing because it was just not good enough. But I suppose he's a centre half at the end of the day, but he'll learn. But the deliveries from Rafinha were good. We were consistently causing them problems. The finishing touch wasn't there from set pieces. So I wouldn't say we were dreadful at them. We just need that finishing touch.
It was kind of me exaggerating there. It's just, Pascal Struijk, he could have easily scored a few himself, but he just didn't, which, we won this game 2-0, but we could have won it a lot more comfortably. Of course, we did go 2-0 up inside the first 7 minutes of the second half. It was nice play by Leeds United, really, here with, good press, forcing Scott Dan to play the ball early, and of course, Phillips won the ball back in midfield. And the ball fell to Click. He played it through to Rafinha. His effort was saved well by Gaeta in goal, but Bamford followed it up to score his 12th goal of the season, his 33rd goal overall for Leeds United, which takes him to 50th place in the club's all-time list of goal scorers. And it was also his 100th career goal. And coming against his former club, it was written in the stars, wasn't it, for Bamford scoring this game?
Yeah, he really doesn't like Crystal Palace. I kind of get that impression from him. He had that loan spell at them, which clearly didn't go well. But yeah, it was. I'm really pleased to see Bamford just continuing to notch the goals up because it's good for us, it's good for the team, it's good for his own confidence, and it helps his admittedly, out there England chances. It helps that as well. So yeah, it was just a really good goal. It was a typical Leeds goal, really, pressuring Scott down to making the kind of sloppy pass. Great intercept play from Phillips. Click with a quality ball through to Rafinha, which Rafinha kind of drifts behind the defenders. I feel like the keeper, when he saves Rafinha's shot, she'll put it out for a corner, but doesn't. For some reason, he kind of curves his hand around it, which kind of obviously makes it land. But the movement from Bamford is brilliant to anticipate the mistake and the possibility of getting the tap in, and he was very calm and composed in putting it away.
Yeah, it was a very good finish from Bamford. I think, easy in the end, but I think, when you look at it, it's what we've criticised Bamford over the years for, really, just not being in the right place at the right time, but good striker's instinct just to keep running, anticipating the rebound, and calm and cool and composed finish. He didn't blast over the bar like we've seen him do many times. It was a really nice finish from Bamford. Yeah, and of course, after what happened to Bamford at Selhurst Park with that offside goal, wrongly being ruled out. I think him scoring in this game. Yeah, I mean his Bamford scoring in this game was just fitting the stars. Really, it was so good to see. And I'd say his 100th career goal, which is just brilliant, and his 12th of the season. He's having a fantastic season, it's Bamford, and hopefully he keeps it up. So yeah, we of course won the game 2-0, but as I say, we could have won the game a lot more convincingly. Jack Harrison hit the bar right at the end of the game, the 14th time we've hit the bar this season. But no, it was a really comfortable night for Leeds United in the end, and it was a performance, really, Charles, that showed how well Leeds have acclimatised themselves to the Premier League, wasn't it?
I think we've just been really good at beating the teams around us this season. That's been our biggest strength, is that we've beaten the Burnleys and the Crystal Palace and the West Broms, the Fulhams, and Sheffield United. So we've beaten all the teams that we want to below us. And I think we've kind of created that solid base where if you get points in these games, you can then go into games like we've got this weekend against Arsenal, knowing that it doesn't really matter if we win or not, because there's plenty of games left, and we're almost definitely going to be safe. I'm still waiting for my 40 points, but we're almost definitely going to be safe. So it leaves these games open to be free hits.
Yeah. Was the performance on Monday night one of the best of the season for you?
It wasn't one of the. I won't say it was one of the best of the season. I thought it was one of the most professional, kind of comfortable performances of the season. I won't say quality-wise. I think we've played better this season. I thought that second half against Everton was quality, and I thought obviously the West Brom one was we smashed them kind of 5-0. The Man City performance, the draw, I think the Man City performance, the draw was probably our best performance of the season. I thought it was just spectacular to be able to compete with kind of players of that caliber. I think this was just a very comfortable professional win that could have been easily been more. Could have been 5-0, and I don't think anybody could have argued with that.
No, it was a very good performance from Leeds United and from a lot of players. I of course put out a man of the match poll on Twitter, as I do after every game that Leeds United win at least. And 4 options win the poll. It was Liam Cooper, Rafinha, Matthäus Klick and Patrick Bamford. And Rafinha won the poll by a landslide, 78.7% rather. Liam Cooper, 10.6%, Klick with 4.3% of the vote, and Bamford with 6.4% of the vote. So yeah, Rafinha, majority of people's man of the match. Was Rafinha man of the match for you on Monday?
I'm going to go with Liam Cooper, to be honest. I thought he had a really, really good, solid, one of his best performances in the league shirt. He really kind of dominated Mateta. I thought he restricted Benteke to that one chance all game, which was, comfortable save for Meslier. I don't think Meslier was troubled at all throughout the game. I thought the defence was a huge part of that. Rafinha is obviously going to get the headlines because of the wonderful bit of skill and just because he's a really exciting player to watch. But yeah, I thought it was I'd have gone with Liam Cooper personally.
Yeah. I mean, I just love watching Rafinha play. I thought it was fantastic on Monday. Of course, that bit of skill just to end Cahill's career, really. Just so good on Monday. But no, I agree with you, Liam Cooper. I thought that was probably Liam Cooper's best performance definitely in a very, very long time for Leeds United. Of course, Pascal Schuich as well, grows game by game. And, when Llorente and Koch eventually return, if Schuich and Cooper keep performing how they are, it's going to take a lot of work for Koch and Llorente to work their way back into the side, won't it?
Yeah, I think Schuich and Cooper Yeah, but that kind of competition is what I'm looking forward to. I'd always rather have the competition than have everybody out injured. I'm kind of sick of us constantly having like loads of injuries. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Cock and Llorente coming back. I think Llorente is probably going to be back a little bit sooner than Robin Koch, but we'll see.
Yeah, but certainly, they'll certainly have a lot of work to do to get back into the side. Yeah, I do like competition. I don't like just having Llorente and Cock out and you're thinking, oh bloody hell, now we have to play Pascal Schurik and Liam Cooper together. It's they're as good as those guys really. And yeah, it's great to have some good strong competition at centre back for once. A word on Calvin Phillips as well. Of course, he played his 200th game for the club on Monday, only the 64th player to do so, and it's amazing, isn't it, how he's played 200 games already for the club after making his debut in April 2015 rather. It's been great to see his development over the years.
Well, it has. Yeah, it's been great to see him kind of rack up the appearances. I really hope he continues, and he's approaching some decent names really. From some of the better teams of our past. I hope he's going to get up to the kind of Gary Kelly level where he's playing like 500 games for the club over the next few years. And he's still, what is he, 25 now? He's still got plenty of time to rack up a lot of performances for us in the appearances, sorry. And performances, absolutely. To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, appearances and performances are pretty much the same thing. Even bad performances and good performances, they're still performances at the end of the day. So
yeah. Appearances, I should say. Appearances is what I mean. But yeah, he's still got plenty of time there. And it's great to see. I like having players come to the academy. That's how football should be. I don't always want to be spending 30, 40 million for the next player. Sometimes it's nice to just have someone break through the ranks and be quality.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it feels even
just go on.
It feels even better when they do break through and they're quality because you've paid nothing for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just great to see one of your own just play every single game and be one of the most influential players in the team. Phillips has definitely improved over the past few years, and hopefully he keeps on picking up those appearances for Leeds United. And Illan Meslier as well, keeping his 7th clean sheet of the season. It didn't have much to do, mind, but it's good to see him keep another clean sheet. Just overall a good night on Monday for Leeds United. Leeds have still never lost when leading at half-time under Marcelo Bielsa, which is remarkable. The 3 points on Monday moved us into the top half of the Premier League table for the first time since October. Above our upcoming opponents, Arsenal, but more importantly, 17 points clear of the relegation zone. Is it time that we stop looking behind us now, Charles?
I'm not going to relax until we hit 40 points. I mean, I know you're a little bit more comfortable than me, because generally you're a bit more optimistic. But I'm leaving it till 40 points, so I'm completely relaxed. But I'm confident we're going to be completely fine. I do think we've got a good opportunity to put some good run of results together.
How many more wins do you think which will secure Leeds United survival? How many more wins?
2, probably 2.
Yeah, I think after 2 more wins, then I think we can all just relax a little bit. I mean, I'm already relaxed. I think it'll be a catastrophic collapse if we end up going down at this point. But yeah, I think 2 wins will just have us all a little bit more relaxed. And we're only 7 points off a Europa League place. Do you dare to dream? Do you dare to dream that finishing in the Europa League could be a possibility this season?
I don't think we've quite got the consistency to be looking at that, to be that ambitious. I think between 8th and 12th is where we're probably going to finish this season, depending on how the last, I say probably third of the season's going to go.
Yeah.
I think so. We were saying kind of at the start of the season that we'd take kind of mid-table, lower mid-table, and it looks like we're going to get proper mid-table around about 10th. Or 10th at the moment. I think we'll probably stay around that area, but yeah, we haven't got the consistency to touch the European spots just yet. I don't think.
Yeah, no, I don't think we have a consistency either. But it would be nice finishing the Europa League, although I don't think we really need that next season. When we're building a squad and becoming a well-established Premier League side. I don't think a busier schedule is really what we need at the moment. But we can dream, and finishing the Europa League, of course, will be nice. But no, I think just a top half finish this season would just be a remarkable achievement from Leeds United, and it'll put us up there as one of the best promoted sides in Premier League history, which is fantastic. And fantastic win on Monday over Crystal Palace, and Leeds are in a really good place now heading into the next game, which is of course that trip to the Emirates Stadium to face Arsenal this Sunday. Charles and I will preview that game later on in the show. The Leeds United Under-23s kicked off a new year in style after defeating Burnley 4-1 away from home, thanks to a hat-trick from Crescencio Somerville and a goal from Sam Greenwood. The following week, they defeated Stoke City 1-0 at Ford Parch, with Diego Llorente scoring the only goal in that game. In their next game, the Under-23s defeated Sunderland 2-0 at Ford Parch, with goals from Tyler Roberts and Niall Huggins. And after that, they beat Middlesbrough 4-2 away from home to remain 10 points clear of the Premier League 2, at the top of the Premier League 2 table. So 4 wins in a row to start the new year for the Under-23s, and they are on a 7-game winning streak at the moment. Just fantastic stuff, Charles, from Mark Jackson's side.
Yeah, they've got some quality players in there, and I think it's pretty much inevitable now that they're going to get promoted into the top tier, the PL1. I thought Somerville was brilliant in this game. I thought Max Dane was quality as well. I think there is a lot of Joe Gellart was once again kind of magnificent, and it doesn't surprise anybody to see that he's featuring on the bench against Palace, and hopefully he will do again, because I think Hernandez will be out for a little bit. So I'd love to see him get on the pitch for the first team, even if it's a small cameo.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even though Joe Gellart was on the bench just because Pablo Hernandez is out injured, it's just good to see Under-23s players make it on the bench in the Premier League, and hopefully he does make an appearance soon, because he is a promising player, and maybe if there's a game where we 4-0 up, we can just throw him on just for the experience, because it's always nice to just see Under-23s players who you've been watching regularly, and just to see him do well and make that step up into the first team. It's always good to see, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quality, and I do think he definitely has a lot of talent, particularly Joe Gellart, and I think it's a shame we got knocked out of the cups when we did, because I would have liked to see more of him in the cups. But as always with Leeds United, we exit the cups pretty early.
yeah, we certainly do. But you mentioned Crescencio Somerville there. Of course, a hat-trick for him to start the new year. He looks like another quality, promising young player that we have at the club.
Yeah, he's got that kind of Raheem Sterling type style to him, where he's just really, really good dribbler, really good at going past players, and he's just great kind of center of gravity, and he's just really, really decent. He caused Sunderland all sorts of problems down there, left down our on his place on the right wing. I thought he really did cause a lot of problems, and I'll be interested to see how he develops in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll get on to injuries later on in the show, but Ian Poveda is out, and we've Helder Costa not performing too great when he's coming off the bench in the Premier League. It'll be great to see Somerville, won't it, go on the bench and be given some game time in the Premier League.
It would be, but I don't know if Bielsa will be making that step just yet. But yeah, I wouldn't be against seeing that.
Yeah, no, it would be fantastic to see more of these Under-23s players get a chance in the first team. But no, brilliant stuff here from the Under-23s. As I say, 4 wins in a row to start 2021. 7-game winning streak they're on right now. And hopefully they continue that win streak in their next game, which sees them host Reading at Ford Parch on Monday, the 15th of February. That game kicks off at 1 p.m. So the January transfer window is now, of course, closed, and Leeds United didn't buy anyone. We didn't bring anyone in to the club. Charles, are we really that bothered that we didn't sign anyone?
No.
Simple as that.
No. Well, yeah. No, I'm not bothered at all. I think we're comfortable as it is. Victor Orta doesn't really like the January transfer market. He thinks it's selling teams tend to take advantage of buying teams, and the generally quality players aren't available to the summer anyway. It's always got quite a dark market there, so I don't really see why we should be paying out for players. Paying well over the odds for someone who's with Bielsa system probably won't make an impact in time.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just there's just no real need for him. And our signs in the January transfer window over the last kind of 10 years have not been great, particularly the last
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
they haven't been too great, have they, the January transfer signings?
Mo Barrow and Alfonso Pedraza are coming to mind right now, and
Oh no, what about Jimmy Kebe and Cameron Stewart?
Well, yeah, they were even worse. I was thinking slightly more recent, but yeah, they were even worse.
Yeah, it's not been too great over the past few years, and yeah, the January transfer window, as you say, it's notoriously difficult to do good business, in that month anyway. See, I'm not too bothered that we didn't sign anyone. I mean, it would have been nice to see, some players come in and just, add to the squad, but we didn't need anyone. That's the most important thing. It would have been nice to see someone. We may have wanted a player or two, but we didn't need anyone, I don't think. I think the squad that we have now is fine and more than capable of keeping Leeds United in the Premier League. I do think, though, that, games against Crawley and Hull this season showed that we don't really have the strength in depth at the club. And, the games against Spurs and Everton, I think showed that if, Radrizzani and the club are deadly serious about making us a top 6 club, then we do need to invest, really. And, yeah, are you anticipating a busy summer ahead?
I wouldn't say a busy summer. I think it's going to be much like last summer. It's going to be 2 or 3, high quality signings to kind of augment the squad and get a bit more depth in there. Obviously, we're looking at that Parade from the French league for the left back, and it seems like we're kind of still very interested in Rodrigo de Paul. It seems like he's interested as well because he's been hinted by the Udinese kind of director of football that Rodrigo de Paul's probably going to leave the Udinese in the summer. So I think it would be a good opportunity to get a slightly more reasonable price for him, given obviously there's 1 year less on his contract, which makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah, definitely. I think that it will be an exciting summer for Leeds United ahead. I think, with the link's still strong with De Paul and, as you say, left back in France who looks a decent, promising player. I think, I think an exciting summer is ahead. Yeah, we didn't need anyone in January, but I think, we will need to invest in the summer if we're serious about, pushing into the top 8, top 6 of the Premier League. But we're fine for now, and I am confident that we will stay up. So yeah, we didn't see anyone come into Leeds, but we did see plenty of players leave Elland Road in the January transfer window. So 20-year-old Jordan Stevens has joined League Two side Bradford City on loan until the end of the season. 19-year-old striker Ryan Edmondson has joined League One side Northampton Town on loan until the end of the campaign. Robbie Gotts has joined League Two side Salford City on loan until the end of the season after he was recalled from his loan spell at Lincoln City. 24-year-old defender Connor Shaughnessy has joined League One side Rochdale on an 18-month contract. Forward Rafa Mujica has joined Spanish side Las Palmas on loan until the end of the season. The move comes after the 22-year-old's loan spell at Real Oviedo was terminated. And finally, forward J-Roy Grott has joined German side Osnabrück, I think that's how you pronounce it, in a permanent transfer. So the 22-year-old leaves Elland Road having made a total of just 23 appearances for Leeds in all competitions, scoring just 1 goal. So, it's good to finally see him go. And, Charles, it's good to see the club, sending these youngsters out on loan, in the hope of getting some regular first-team football, isn't it?
Yeah, I think players do develop a lot more when they going out and playing, men's football for results that really do matter to the clubs that they're playing for. I think the problem with the 23s footballers, you can kind of simulate first team football, but the kind of pressure to win isn't really there as much, and the determination to to get the 3 points isn't quite as there as much. So I think it does develop players, and seems like Gotts in particular is having a fantastic season. I think he scored 3 or 4 goals already. I think he's playing in a bit more of an attacking role for Salford, which is a shame because I don't like Salford at all. But I think they're a Sky sponsored BTEC scum, to be honest with you. But I'm really not a fan of them. And he scored against Harrogate as well, which I didn't like at all because I kind of view Harrogate and Guiseley and Taddy as kind of like mini versions of Leeds.
Yeah.
Not really a fan of that situation, but he's developing, so that's the main thing.
Yeah, it's not great seeing him do well for Salford City, but it's just great to see him doing well, really. And it's important for these youngsters to get try and get regular first team experience and regular first team football, because I think we've seen this season in the cup games against Hull and Crawley that just throwing them straight into the first team in a competition like the FA Cup against strong opposition, it doesn't really work, does it? You do kind of need to get them used to first team football slowly and embed them more. Go out on loan and get regular first team football. Really, it's no use just throwing them straight into the first team for Leeds United. It doesn't really work, does it?
No, I think it just unbalances the whole team, and I don't think the team plays as well when you're putting players who aren't used to playing first team football in with professionals that have been playing loads of games. They don't quite gel as well, and I thought the Crawley game was a perfect example of that. We chucking players in, and I thought that Ollie Casey and Jack Jenkins quite struggled to deal with the tempo of that game. They do need first team minutes in teams in the lower divisions to kind of get up to speed first before they're playing cup games like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And good luck to all those Under-23s players out on loan this season. Hopefully we have a lot of promising players coming back to the club in the summer. And Jay Roy Grant as well. Finally, his time at the club has ended, which is quite nice to see. It's good to see that kind of end of an era kind of thing.
I want Usain Boy to leave. I really do. Like, he must have robbed thousands and thousands from us, stealing a wage. But once the last of those kind of dreadful 2017 signings are finally gone, I think that we can kind of detach ourselves from that era.
Yeah, absolutely. We can just finally move on. Not a busy transfer window for Leeds United at all. However, there has been movement in ownership at big clubs. So the 49ers Enterprises, who own the San Francisco 49ers, have increased their stake in the club from 10% to 37%. Parag Maratha, you probably heard the name of quite a lot in recent weeks, supported by 49ers Enterprises Vice President Colin Meador and other key 49ers personnel, will be more involved in the decision-making process and day-to-day operations of Leeds United moving forward, both in football and business operations, as he has done for the 49ers for the last 20 years, and he maintains his place on the Leeds United board of directors. In an interview recently on the On-Scene and Chapman podcast, Parag Maratha sounded very passionate about Leeds United, I think it's fair to say. And it mainly chatted about, it mainly wants to focus on the infrastructure and development of Elland Road and improving the fan experience, which can only be a positive thing, right?
You'd hope so. I want them to kind of, get a bit more commercial revenue out of the club without, removing its soul, because I think that has happened to a lot of Premier League clubs in the past. They've kind of developed the kind of hospitality, but kind of lost the heart of the club. And I think I don't want us to be in danger of doing that. But Rajani's not really led us too wrong in the past. He's been a decent custodian of the club, barring a couple of errors like Badgegate. But he's been a good owner all in all. So I think he's a kind of our trust on this one, and I think that a bit more commercial revenue and investment from the 49ers can't be a bad thing.
Yeah, no, it certainly can't be a bad thing. Now, of course, there is always that scare, as you mentioned there, that we become too like the teams like Tottenham Hotspur and Manchester City, who have got quite a lot of investment and have just become just a soulless corporate club, really. But I don't think Babazzani, he hasn't done bad at all over the past few years. Of course, with that badge thing, which he made a mess of. But apart from that, he's done well at the club, and I don't think he would allow that to happen. And it does sound like Parag Maratha and the rest of the guys who have invested in the club do kind of understand the history of Leeds United and what the club wants. And I do think it is promising. Of course, we need to wait and see what happens. But no, it's always good to have people invest in your club, no matter what. So it's always nice to see. You've also had a YouTube co-founder, Chad Hurley, go slightly under the radar. He's also invested in the club as well. Now, if you don't know who Chad Hurley is, he is a minority stake owner in the Golden State Warriors NBA team and the LAFC in the MLS. And his net worth is around $355 million. He earns about $4.5 million per year. Charles, it's crazy how people like Chad Hurley, co-founder of YouTube and, the 49ers, it's crazy to think, why a club like Leeds United, who haven't been in the Premier League for 16 years, appeals to these kind of people. It's weird, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's strange seeing. It is really like baffling to see these Americans, continuing to try and invest in us. When you think a few years ago, we've had, GFH and Chileno as owners, and investors wouldn't touch the club with a barge pole. So it's quite an odd change of pace, really.
Yeah, it certainly is. And but no, hopefully it is all for the better. Of course, there is that scare that we become a soulless club, and they do too much development on Elland Road, and we don't really have owners who care much about football. You look at Arsenal, their owner Stan Kroenke doesn't really view Arsenal as like, he cares a lot more about the LA Rams NFL team than he does Arsenal, really, and he just sees them as kind of a a cash cow really for his own plans for the LA Rams. But hopefully that doesn't happen with Leeds. And yeah, hopefully all this is for the better, and hopefully an exciting future for Leeds United is ahead with all this new investment. And as Parag Mamath for the 49ers saying that he's focusing more on the development of Elland Road. And speaking of development at Elland Road, a few weeks ago we saw the instalment of a new hybrid pitch at the stadium, which the club have bought off of Tottenham Hotspur for a fee of over £300,000. It's only temporary though, as a brand new state-of-the-art drainage system and new pitch will be installed starting in May. But even though this is a temporary pitch, Charles, it was needed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was needed. It was the old pitch was kind of causing a lot of serious issues. I thought players were slipping constantly, and it got to the point where I think the Brighton game in particular, we just couldn't play any of our usual kind of quick, fast-paced football. I think it was just causing a lot of issues. With the new pitch, still needs time to settle. The weather in Leeds and in Yorkshire in general has been appalling for that. Seems like 6 weeks now since the new year. It doesn't seem like it's got any warmer than about 3 degrees. So it's been horrible. So I can understand the pitch needing a little bit of time to settle. So I think it'll be a decent enough temporary measure, but the pitch does need fixing in general.
Yeah, it certainly does. But you mentioned there, the Brighton game. You look back at the Burnley game as well. You could just see how awful that last pitch was. We weren't able to play our style of football well. It was just it was players were at risk of injury on that pitch really, and it definitely did need changing. We played 2 games on this new pitch that we've got from Spurs. How do you think it's played so far?
He's played okay. I think there's still a couple of issues that Bamford fell over a little bit. Click pretty much injured himself out of nowhere because his feet just slipped in both directions. I think Luke Ayling, when he was running to collect the ball from the corner flag as well, slipped a little bit and hurt his back. You could see him holding his back. So it is still a bit of it still needs a little bit of time to settle. But I think in general, the football we're able to play is a little bit better. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can, we've got back to playing our just regular style of football. We can play good football now on the pitch again. I do think it is dangerous because the players do seem to be slipping and sliding all over the place. You mentioned Click there. That looked very painful. Did that. And, it's like we're playing on the ice rink next door on occasion. We're playing slipping and sliding all over the place. It was, it's better than the old one. And I think it'll do for now. But no, it overall, everything just needs fixing. As I say, there's plans to have a new drainage system. I think it's a 20-odd-year-old drainage system, and you can't blame the ground staff because they're doing the best. They've got a new pitch just randomly out of nowhere, and they have to put it on a really old drainage system. And the pitch is getting battered with snow and rain every few days here in Leeds and near Ellis 11. So they're doing the best really, and I think the pitch, we're able to play our game, but players are slipping a lot more. But I do think it is fine just for a temporary pitch. I think it will do until the end of the season. How long do you think it'll be before the players finally get used to the pitch and stop slipping and sliding?
Probably by the end of the season. By the time we're ripping it up.
Yeah. But no, it'll do, and you know it looks a lot better than the old pitch at least. And speaking of Elland Road, the stadium is now in FIFA 21, which is nice to see. Just wanted to mention that in case anyone didn't see, and also to plug a new Leeds United FIFA 21 career mode series that I'll be doing on the YouTube and Facebook, all things Leeds pages. So make sure to follow for that. I'll be doing a FIFA 21 career mode seeing as that Elland Road is in the game now. But anyway, moving on. In other news, a few of Leeds United's February fixtures have been changed due to a TV broadcast. So the game away at Wolverhampton Wanderers will now kick off at 8 p.m. live on BT Sport on Friday, the 19th of February. And the game against Aston Villa will now kick off at 5:30 p.m. live on Sky Sports on Saturday, the 27th of February. And Leeds United's rearranged Premier League fixture with Southampton will take place on Tuesday, the 23rd of February at Elland Road. The game kicks off at 6 p.m. and the game will be broadcast live on Sky Sports. So plenty of games on TV to look forward to. But some Leeds United players will miss those fixtures, unfortunately, as a Leeds United's injury list just keeps on getting bigger and bigger. We have 8 players who are currently out. Those are Adam Forshaw, Ian Poveda, who will be out for a few weeks due to an ankle injury he picked up in an Under-23s game recently. Rodrigo will miss for the next few weeks due to a groin injury. Diego Llorente and Robin Cocker obviously still out. Pablo Hernandez is out again, and Calvin Phillips is a doubt for Sunday's game at Arsenal, while Bavardi is, of course, still out. But it's not all bad news. Bavardi has returned to full training this week, which is good to see. Hopefully, they think Bavardi could make an impact to the final few stages of the season.
I hope he gets a few minutes, to be a Premier League player. I think he's earned it. He's put the years in. He's been here since 2014, 2015? Yeah. It's been a long time. So he's seen a lot of dreadful Leeds United teams. I think he's earned this. I think he's earned, the chance to be in a Premier League team.
Yeah, absolutely. Just for sentimental reasons, just want to see Bavardi play again. But no, in all seriousness, it's good to see Bavardi back in a full training. It's good to just see, how the club have treated him. Because he was out of contract last summer, he was injured, going to miss this season, and they could have easily just said, no, we're not going to renew your contract. We're not going to pay you because you're injured. You're not going to be of any use to us. But Bavardi's worked hard over the years since joining in 2014, and just to repay him, see him through his injury, it's good from the club. And it's good to see Bavardi back in full training and seeing that he's recovered from his knee injury. Now, I think the biggest miss out of all those players who are definitely out is Rodrigo. Really, of course, he'll miss the next few weeks. Have we missed him in the last few games, Rodrigo? Do you think?
I wouldn't say so. I think we've got 3 wins in the last 4. I think we're playing quite well. I think we do miss his kind of magic at times. I thought against Everton he would have been a good player to have on the pitch. I thought that was the kind of game that would have suited him. But I wouldn't say we've missed him terribly, but I would like to see him again because I think he's definitely got some talent.
Yeah, we certainly haven't missed him loads, but I do think that we do kind of miss that creativity going forward and his quality, and him linking up well with Rafinha and Bamford and Harrison. I enjoy watching that, but I think Click has been fine since Rodrigo's been out. I mean, Click he hasn't performed great over the past few months, but he's slowly getting back to near his best. I mean, his performance against Crystal Palace was one of the best we've seen in a while from Click, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I thought it was really good. He was kind of instrumental in both goals, really. He was at the heart of both goals. I thought, he was getting closer back to some of his better performances, and which is good because it means that the loss of Rodrigo isn't felt as keenly, and we're not dreading having him in the team.
Yeah. Of course, Calvin Phillips, as I say, is a doubt for Sunday's game at Arsenal. If he does end up missing the game, who goes in his place for you? Do you move Pascal Struijk into CDM, where he's played quite well, or do you move Click back, or what do you do?
I wouldn't move the defence around at all. I think we need a bit of stability there. I would either put Click in the. Actually, I think I'd either put Click or Stuart Downs, I think, in defensive midfield. I think that's how I would do it. And just go slightly more attacking, because I think Arsenal are just going to try and hit us on the counter anyway. I don't think they're going to try and dominate the game.
Yeah, I'd certainly do that as well. You look back at the Aston Villa game where we won 3-0 away. Click played in CDM after Struijk was subbed off. So yeah, we certainly didn't do bad with clicking that position. I think he can certainly play in that position. Yeah, I don't want the defense to be mixed up again, because it's been mixed up so many times this season. I think, clean sheet in the last game. I think, just keep the defense as it is, really. Don't move Pascal Struijk and just put Click back there and then move Jamie Shackleton into midfield. I think that'd be nice to see. Jamie Shackleton, of course, making his 60th appearance for Leeds against Crystal Palace. Would that be your option if Click was to move back, move Shackleton into midfield, or would you want to see Pablo Hernandez perhaps if he's back?
I don't think Hernandez will be back. I'd bring Jamie Shack in. I think I'd like to see him get a start.
Well, let's now look ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on Arsenal away at the Emirates Stadium on Sunday. The game kicks off at 4:30 p.m. and is live on Sky Sports. Charles, are you looking forward to this game?
Yeah, I am really, because this is probably one of the worst, form-wise anyway, it's one of the worst Arsenal teams of my lifetime. Well, I don't think anyone can argue with that. I think they've been pretty woeful. They're below us in the table. Yeah, they're just lacking a bit of cohesion. The kind of, if you've not listened to Square Ball podcast, Dan Moylan describes them as being a team that's less than the sum of their parts, whereas he says that Leeds are a team that's more than the sum of their parts. And I completely agree with that. Really, I think Arsenal have a lot more talent in their team than we do, but they don't play as a team, so they don't win football games.
Yeah, I mean, they're a really weird side, aren't they, Arsenal? Because they've got, Nicolas Pepe, who I think cost around 60 million for them, Aubameyang, Lacazette. They've got some good players in that team, but they just don't really gel together, do they?
No, they're missing Thomas Partey in midfield, who they've signed from Atletico Madrid. They're missing Kieran Tierney as well at left back, so they're having to play Cedric, who I think is a right back at left back. So it could be a great opportunity for Rafinha to kind of get in behind their back line and cause a few problems, because it is disrupted a bit. They might bring David Luiz back in, and he's never too far from doing something stupid. So there's definitely opportunities to punish him and to get something from the game. And I think if Alioski can just do his routine on Pepe again, I think Pepe will get easily wound up. Obviously, there's been a bit of jibe pre-match. I don't know if you've seen any of that stuff from the official Leeds United podcast.
Alioski's managed to piss off the entire Arsenal fan base with his comments, and it was Bamford who delivered Alioski's comments. Bamford saying that Alioski turned to him and said, "I'm looking forward to the game." Bamford asked why, and Alioski said, "Well, I'm playing against my friend Nicolas Pepe," who, of course, Nicolas Pepe got sent off at Elland Road for headbutting Alioski. So, Alioski's managed to wind up the entire Arsenal fan base.
Yeah, without actually saying anything too bad. I mean, he's not basically said that Arsenal are bad or that Pepe's a bad player. He's just winding him up, which is kind of what Alioski does. And it's worked on the Arsenal fans. I hope it works on the Arsenal team as well. Yeah, they're there to be beaten for me. I think if there's any time to break this horrendous form in London, it's this one. I think obviously we've not won since QPR, that 3-1 win with the Kemaroof hat-trick in 2017. So I think this is a great opportunity to actually get 3 points in London, because I think they've lost their last two games against Aston Villa and Wolves of Arsenal. Admittedly, they've been a little bit unfortunate in particularly the Wolves game, because I think they were kind of done over by the referee in that one, but they've still not been playing great, and I think they're there to be beaten.
Yeah, they absolutely are. And just go back to the Alioski thing, winding up Arsenal fans. They're a weird bunch of Arsenal fans, aren't they? Because they're saying, they're championship side, they're why they're bothered about us. But it's like, we're above Arsenal in the league. We have above Arsenal, 1 place and 1 point above Arsenal in the league. So it's not like we're just a championship side, just here on merit. We are better than them this season. And I think we showed that, that 0-0 draw earlier on in the season, we could have easily won that game. So, we're not a bad side, and Arsenal, they're just average this season. They really are average. I think they're going to miss Kieran Tierney at left back, who puts in a lot of decent crosses for them, and Thomas Partey in midfield. Two big misses for them. I just say David Luiz is returning for them, and after serving a 1-match ban, and he's always got something in him. He can always just do something silly in a game and get himself sent off. So if he starts, then he'll be one to watch. No, in Goldo, he's come back after a 1-match suspension. So So they've got a good goalkeeper in net, but no, they're still, I mean, yeah, the worst Arsenal side I've seen in my lifetime, 100%. They're just average this season, not having a great season. As I say, 11th in the league, just one place and 1 point below us, who are a newly promoted side. As you mentioned, they've lost the last 2 games against Wolves and Aston Villa away. They haven't won in the last 3 games. So, yeah, they are vulnerable, aren't they? And there's something in this game for Leeds United. There's definitely something in this game.
Yeah, I think there is an opportunity to get some points. I really do think that. Whether or not we can turn up and take them, and I think Calvin Phillips being there or not being there will have an impact. I think if he is playing, I think I am confident that we can go there and get 3 points. If he's not, then it'll be slightly more difficult. But it's purely because of I think the disruption it will cause in our back line around the team. But because we don't really have a like-for-like replacement for him, I'm fancying our chances. I think we'll get something.
Yeah, I think we'll get something as well. There's definitely something in this game for Leeds. You know, as I say, we drew 0-0 at Elland Road against them in November, and we could have easily won that game. You know, we definitely can match them. Of course, the last time we played at the Emirates was only last season in the FA Cup third round. We were really good in that game, played really well, but of course lost 1-0. Charles, me and you were at that game last season, and is that game any indication of how this game could go?
Well, I hope not, because we lost. Yeah, I think we're a better team than we were in that game. I think we were playing quite a lot of youth players in that game, and let's see if I think Barry Douglas was playing as well. I think we've got a little bit more quality, and I think Arsenal just aren't quite at it. I think this is probably as even as it's going to get. It's like our kind of best shot to pick up another 3 points off a team that, one of the traditional top 6, I should say. They're not like the actual top 6 at the moment, obviously, because they're dreadful this season, but they're part of the traditional top 6.
Yeah, it's a really good opportunity for Leeds United to get one over on one of the so-called big teams, really. And there's definitely something in this game for Leeds. What's your score prediction, Charles, for Sunday?
I'm going to go for a 2-1 Leeds win.
I'm going to go 3-1. I reckon we'll. I reckon there's definitely something in this game for Leeds United, and yeah, hopefully Leeds United can get the 3 points and pick up their first win in London since January 2017. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 85 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles for joining me.
Thanks for having me on, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Appreciate you joining me as always, mate. And thank you as well to everyone who has watched or listened. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, make sure to follow or subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, then give us a 5-star rating. That'll be fantastic. Make sure to share the podcast as well and follow All Things Leeds on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Search All Things Leeds on Facebook, and subscribe to your YouTube channel as well if you have not already. We've got some exciting content coming up. There's going to be plenty of live streams covering the Arsenal game. There'll be pre-match chats and a post-match reaction on Sunday after the game. Of course, Charles and I will be back next week with another podcast, and there's also going to be a quiz live on Wednesday night on YouTube and Facebook to look forward to, starting at 9 p.m. So make sure to follow the All Things Leeds YouTube and Facebook pages if you haven't already, and stay tuned for that. That should be a load of fun. 9 p.m. on Wednesday for that one. But yeah, as I say, Charles and I will be back next week with another podcast. So until then, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.